Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast, where we talk about manifestation, money, and practical guidance to creating your dream reality. My name is Amy Van Meel, and I am an experienced coach and transformation guide, obsessed with helping you get out of your own way and create a life that blows your mind each day you wake up. My goal in this podcast is to share practical manifestation, self-awareness, and growth techniques in real talk conversations. So if you're ready to massively transform your reality, your finances, your relationships, and your overall enjoyment of life, you are in the right place. I am absolutely delighted that you're here with me today, babe. Let's get into it. Hello, my loves, and welcome back. We're still in our special little series here, but very shortly you'll get the next episode in the regular Manifesting Millions podcast. I've been sharing this special little series for you, just trickling these sweet little short, powerful little episodes for you to help you understand what may be getting in the way of you shifting your financial reality. I know that if you've listened to them, you know that I've been studying money for more than 20 years. And in all that time, I've been really looking to go, what is it that makes the difference? How do I actually shift out of this feeling of just it just feels hard and it feels stressful and I don't know how to not worry and I don't know how to not feel fearful when my paychecks aren't huge or they've disappeared or my business isn't growing or, whatever. How do we shift through those things? And it's not just so many of the manifestation teachers try to tell us of well, just keep your focus on what you want and not on what you don't want. And I was like, well, that sounds simple enough. But then they keep telling you, well, your energy's wrong. And I'm like, okay, listen, sister, listen, dude. If it was actually that easy, if it was actually just that simple, then everybody should be able to do it. And I finally went, there's something else missing. And that's what became the Breakup with Broke audio journey. Because I just looked at what was happening and I looked at how people are feeling stressed and struggling. And I definitely tested and tried things in my own life. And I was like, this isn't out there. So I'm going to write it. Now, what I want to do today is a little bit different. I want to just go through a quick little Q&A because you may not have you may not be part of my email list. You may not have popped onto the enrollment page. That's all fine. I want to just do a quick little Q&A in case there's some, lingering questions. But before I do that, I do want to just start by saying that regardless of whatever you might hear today, what you've heard in the previous episodes, if you are on my email list and you've been receiving my emails, regardless of what you read there, see on the sales page, see on a social media post, anything, I want you to know that there isn't a right or wrong answer or a right or wrong time. This is really critical. I think that I've seen so many entrepreneurs and salespeople really that have just pushed the right time is now and there's no better time. And some of those things are true, but I've also heard them talk about that it's never going to feel right. You just need to do it. So I've invested in programs that I definitely thought were right. I felt like all the signs are pointing to yes. And then found myself, 3 months later or 2 years later, frustrated that I poured so much money and time into something with basically no results to show for it other than the fact that I have a giant credit card bill or something, right? I've also invested in programs when everything around me said it was the wrong time, but I knew in my heart that I was ready for it, and it created the most beautiful expansion in my life. And what I want you to hear before I pop into a couple of questions is you already know if this is your next step. It's been clear to you on some level all along. You may have been trying to negotiate with it. You may have been trying to say I'll do this next time, or this sounds really good, but, or whatever. And I intend to give you some clarity through some of the questions that I'll answer for you shortly. But I want you to just tune in and know you already know the next step. And to just trust that and move with it. So if you're someone like me, this used to be me. This is less me now, because I've trained myself over my 42 and a half years on the planet to like really trust my intuition. But if you are someone who likes to check the boxes, to give your prefrontal, oh my goodness, am I drinking? I should be. Your prefrontal cortex a bit of clarity, right? Something to help persuade your subconscious mind that your gut was on point all along, then these FAQs could be really helpful for you. So the first one, this is so common. Everybody, and you should be asking this question anytime you're thinking about enrolling in a program, or like hell, even if you're going to like download a free download, the question being like, is this actually going to work for me in my situation? And such a juicy question. What I want you to understand is that Break Up with Broke is written for any and every stage of your money journey. Okay. You don't need to be a financial maven, and you don't need to be a money baby. All right. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in your financial journey. If you live on the planet and you're dealing with money, you will find insights and ideas and integrative tools that will meet you where you're at and help you shift what you're experiencing for the better. And it's designed that way. And I will show you inside there's 5 weeks, and each week has a different topic. And I tell you very clearly, for example, in week 1, we address worry. Because I was like, what's the biggest thing that people have with money? Well, it's worry. Okay, let's tackle that first thing. I tell you that, like, very clearly, listen, I'm not going to teach you how to like release worry for the rest of your life, because that doesn't work. That's like me saying, hey, I'm going to teach you how to not breathe for the rest of your life. Like, I mean, I guess that would be true, because if you just stop breathing, then you would be dead. And the remainder of your time alive, you did stop breathing. That was a bad example. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. The point is that the way Break Up with Broke was written is it's written framed with core topics and core emotions that all of us experience at different times. So it is titled Break Up with Broke because the intention is to help us get out of this like broke ass thinking, this constant feeling of like scarcity and fear and struggle and worry. But like, you don't have to be broke to get some like massive, powerful, amazing shifts and expansion out of it. That's not how it's written at all. So it really doesn't matter where you are in your financial journey. If you exist on the planet and you deal with money, you will absolutely find insights and ideas and tools that are going to help you. They'll meet you where you are now, and they will help you shift what you're experiencing. Okay. Our next question is, what exactly is included when I buy? Oh, honey, I'm so glad you asked. So, Break Up with Broke is 5 weeks of audios with 5 audios per week. It's all delivered via a private podcast feed. When you enroll, you'll receive a couple of emails. You'll receive one from me, and then you'll receive one from the platform that I host all my um, products on. My brain just stopped for a second there. Called Kajabi, and you'll get an email generated from them that says like, here's the link to access the private podcast feed, and it should give you instructions for it. Now, on occasion, on top of the 5 weeks of audios, I will sometimes add a bonus audio in. At this exact moment, there is one bonus audio called This or Something Better. These bonus audios are just like, think of them like extra drops that are added when something comes through for me to share with you. So they're not like, well, they're bonuses, so they're not core content. I mean, that's just like, duh. They're they're not something that is meant to, it's going to be structured in a different way. So they tend to be longer. They'll tend to be more me like riffing on something, kind of like how these episodes have been, and not specifically like, okay, this is structured and here's how these days build together. The actual core content of Break Up with Broke is structured to build on itself. So I would recommend, and actually, hang on, I'll say that in a minute. I just realized I'm about to answer my next question. But so anyway, back to like what's actually included. What's included is lifetime access of 5 weeks of audios with 5 audios per week. Okay. Now, this naturally dovetails into my next question, which is how much time will this take and what's the schedule? Because listen, we are busy people, so I get it. I've designed the audios specifically to be short so that you can listen to them on your drive to work. That's what I was thinking when I wrote them. I was like, okay, I want this to be something that they can press play in the morning when they're on their way to work or on their way home from work or going for a walk over lunch. I want this to be easy. So I think the longest one is about 27 minutes long. Some are nearer to 10 minutes. On average, they kind of average between like, say, 15 to maybe 20 minutes. And all that means is that these are easily digestible daily audios specifically designed to fit into your life now. So, what I was about to say when I was sharing my previous question is Breakup with Broke is set up as 5 weeks, but you receive full access to the whole stream when you sign up. Okay. So like you can listen if you wanted to, you could listen to all the audios right away, or you could follow a Monday to Friday type of drop schedule, right? Which is like, again, that's kind of how I envisioned it. Like day one, you listen on Monday, day two, you listen on Tuesday, but it's completely up to you. And you can pair your expansion with your commute, right? Like you could literally use your workday as your anchor. Okay, I'm driving to work today. I'm going to press play on a Breakup with Broke audio. Right. So that's completely fine. Now I've mentioned this already, but I just want to double down on this. Like, how long do you have access for? All of my programs come with lifetime access, which means if you're breathing, you will have access. All right. That's just how I've planned for them to be. So yeah, like you have these 5 weeks of audios, the bonuses get added in whenever that happens. There is actually also a really fun walking meditation that is laid in with the audios, and I've actually got it set in with like weeks 1, 2, and 3. I'm trying to think of like how do all the podcast feeds work to make it easy for you, so you don't have to keep going to find it. And then like over time, my intention is that I'll write some more meditations. Some of them might be more like sit down and like close your eyes meditations. But the one that I have in the program right now is specifically a moving meditation. And you'll be able to see why, because like when you press play, it's got a whole vibe. It feels fucking good. It's intended to get your body moving. And that's important because it actually helps you integrate what's like the affirmations that are being said through the meditation. The $1 billion question, almost said $1 million, but let's be real. It's the $1 billion question that everyone is asking is, but Amy, what specific result or transformation can I expect? Tell me what is going to happen for me. So it's such a fascinating question because I get why we ask this question. And I want to say it to you this way. Provided that you listen to the audios, practice the tools and strategies, you will discover that you'll be able to readily and consistently shift worry, fear, and stress around your finances. Okay, I'm going to say that again. It's not just, okay, it's yes, just listening to the audios, but it's actually also practicing the tools and strategies. And you'll find out in the journey, it's not about like you have to do 1,000. So before you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do 1 billion things. No, I remember how I said the other day that simple always wins. Like it's about simple shifts stacking over time. That I truly believe that to my core. If you said to me, Amy, I have the key, I can make you a millionaire in 30 days, but you're going to have to do 157 things every single day, plus everything else that you're supposed to do. I'd be like, yeah, I don't think that's going to work because that doesn't work with my life. So it is not about that, but it is that if you listen to the audios and you practice the tools and the strategies, you will absolutely discover that you'll be able to readily and consistently shift worry and fear and stress around your finances. And when you practice this, your financial life will change because you are shifting your inner frequency around it. Okay? So like that can mean things like discovering that you can leverage worry to your advantage and stop it in its tracks when it's turning down an unhelpful path. Okay. I literally show you how to do that in like the first 3 days of the journey. It means that you'll understand when you're feeling false fear or true fear and how to use these to boost the awareness into transformation. I don't shy away and say like don't feel fear or like, fear just means you're on the edge of growth. No, I'm fucking show you how like what is fear trying to bring to your awareness? And then I show you how to boost that awareness into actually transforming your life. Because it's not, I don't want to just leave you with like, cool, okay, so I'm feeling afraid, which must mean I'm at the edge of like a growth space. And that's like cool. Sure, that's one way to like boost your awareness into transformation, but like wouldn't it be amazing if you could actually make it more tangible and more applicable to your life? I show you how to do that. It can also mean, in case we forgot what it means, like when you're practicing the tools and the strategies from the audios that you're learning, that you're shifting your financial change because you're shifting your inner frequency. It can also mean that you learn how to turn down the stress while also turning up the calm. Because I got to tell you, like, it's one thing to say, like, we just need to be less stressed. But it's another thing to actually like move into a state of feeling calm. And for if you've ever been, and I'm going to guess, like if this stuff has been resonating with you, and you've ever had a bill that like I'm going to use a credit card statement because those are the ones that certainly have had me like, and I'll share another example with you in a minute. But like, a credit card statement that comes in and you know that you've been going financially, again, I hate to use backwards, but if we're looking at a direction, financially backwards, meaning your credit card balance has been growing, month over month over month, and you look at your statement and you're like, oh my God, and you're trying to, like, you just feel the instant stress response. It's not just about turning down the stress, okay, which is what we do when we learn how to work with our nervous system. It is also about turning up the calm so that it's not that you have to wait until your credit card is paid off before you can feel calm, but you can find your way into feeling calm now, even as you are moving through the current experience you're having financially. Okay? One of the other examples that I had, and this one comes with a little baby trigger warning, but I remember um, receiving, so like my accountant had done my tax return, and they sent me the email. Okay, Amy, here's what it looks like where we're at. You owe, I don't remember, I think it was like $1,400 or something. And I remember exactly where I was sitting. I remember like, I don't remember what I was wearing, but I remember like precisely where I was in the house, and I can still see it and see the laptop on my lap and the email in front of me, and I just completely shut down and I started to just sob, and I was like, I think I understand why people commit suicide when it comes to financial matters. It was something I had never understood before. I always thought it was just like the silliest thing. But here I was staring at this email that said you owe $1,400, which I know to like a bunch of people will be like, Amy, that's nothing. And you're probably right. But in that moment of my life, it was everything. And I was already feeling so low, and I was already feeling like I was struggling on every front. And I was in such incredible stress reaction that I could not see my way forward. Now, because I have the tools and I have the knowledge, I was able to move myself from that place into going, okay, it's not the end of the world. Like, there's options available. I'm going to go, do something else. I'm going to use these tools. I'm going to whatever. And then I found a way forward that was like workable for me. But I understood so deeply that like terror and fear in that moment. And I don't want that for anybody else. And listen, this is like, it wasn't like this was happening when I was like 20 and I didn't have any knowledge. When this happened, I'd already done like years worth of manifestation programs and learning and coaching and like inner growth work and healing and a whole pile of shit. And still I was having that reaction. So you're not alone, is what I'm trying to say. And even if you've never had that, even if that doesn't resonate with you and you've never had that experience, that's awesome. Let's not call one of those in for you because we don't need that. But what I am saying is that like this stuff works because I use it all the time. And I've used it. It's not just when like, oh, I would like to buy a new purse, which I'm not a new purse person anyway. Candidly, that's just not my vibe. But like that's the example that I've heard so often of like, okay, well, I just want to like manifest in these things. And I was like, you know what I want to manifest in? I want to manifest in that I don't fucking freak out every time I know that there's a credit card bill coming in the mail, or every time I see the email in my inbox that says like, hey, your credit card statement has arrived. That's what I want to manifest in. And I'm like, so none of you are teaching that. I'm going to go like write it out, figure it out, and like teach others. So that's what I did. I digress. I intended for this to be a fairly quick, short episode, but here we are at 21 minutes in. There's some jam in here. So next question, how soon can I expect to see results, assuming that I do the work? Excellent question. I'm so glad you asked. You could start seeing results as early as day 3 of week 1. So that's because we tackle worry right off the bat. Okay. It's the very first, I said this already, worry is the first topic that we address. And days 1 to 3 immediately create shift in how you perceive worry, plus give you super simple tools that you can use right away to shift the worry that's already happening. Because you're already feeling it. So like, let's fucking shift that shit, right? All that means that it's possible within 72 hours of purchase, you'll already be shifting experiences in your life. I mean, how's that for some serious ROI? Like, I feel like that's pretty fucking good. And that's also, keep in mind, you get full access to the program right away. So like, that's assuming that you follow the intended release schedule and you do actually like listen to it over 3 days, which I do recommend because it allows your brain to integrate and it allows you to like practice the things that I share with you. But there's nothing saying you couldn't just like sit down or go for like an hour's walk or an hour long drive and you could have days 1 through 3 done right away and you could like start shifting like hell within an hour of like you purchasing the program, right? So I mean, I feel like that's pretty good. And then just in terms of results, like what you can expect. The truth is this, like, because it's designed in a way to meet you at any and every level of your money journey, there are going to be different things that are showing up for you in that moment. So, it might be that you're going, how do I shift out of, worry and fear that I can't pay my bills? And that's going to be like one set of like results. And depending on how deeply ingrained you are in that worry and fear and stress, it might take a little longer for those results to become clear enough that you'll see them. Here's the thing that I find so often about inside work is that the results are happening, but we don't become aware of them until like much later. Like a great example is, I don't remember when, but like early last year, I remember thinking and sort of loosely setting the intention of like, I would really love a mountain vacation, like a couple of days in the mountains with my love and like, man, it'd be really great if somehow somebody else could pay for it. Because I was like, I got no idea how I'm ever going to pay for this, but like that'd be amazing. And then I had family that came in to visit from the Netherlands and they wanted to go spend a few days in the mountains. And I was like, can I come along and like play host and guide? Because that sounds super fun. And my husband also said, like, can I come too? Because that sounds like a great time. And we love spending time with this family. And so we did. We booked the time off of like our respective works and projects and stuff to go spend the week with them. And we were gifted like 4 days in the mountains. And I was just like, what? When they said that they wanted to gift this for us, both of us were like, are you sure? And they said, yeah, we'd really like to do this. You're taking time and you're guiding us around and you've helped us do all these things. And we were just gobsmacked and we were like, that's amazing. And here's the moral of the story. It was like, I think it was like a month or 2 months later before I realized, oh my God, that was exactly what I intended. I had intended for Dave and I to have a couple of days in the mountains and for it to somehow be completely paid for. And I never in my life would have imagined that that's how it came together. And we had a great time. Plus, I got to spend some wonderful time with my extended family. Like, I mean, it's just like it's benefits all over the place. But I digress. Let me come back to results. So it might take you a little while to understand that you're having the results. It also could be, so like we talked about, if you're shifting, the worry and the fear and the stress, it may seem like it's going to take longer, and that's really only just because you've spent more time like building it in. But let me give you another example. So, a few months ago, I was approached with this job opportunity, which I was very excited about. I was not successful in getting it, which I was very sad about. But one of the big things about this opportunity and the work I could absolutely do, I read through the posting and I was like, fuck, I could do this and I would be amazing at this. The biggest thing that like got in my way was that it came with a really lovely six-figure salary. And I'd never made six figures at that point. And I was like, oh my God. And I had to like actively work through the stress response of even imagining myself being in a position that I would be making this like amazing six-figure salary, which I had been dreaming of forever, doing work that sounded really fucking interesting and exciting to me. But like I had to work my way through that. I had to calm my way through that. So that result took less time than for example, like learning how to shift the worry about like a bill that's upcoming, right? Because I spent 40 years practicing how to worry about that. So now it's going to naturally take a little bit longer for me to shift the response. But up until this point, other than like intending and dreaming and like hoping for a six-figure salary, I'd never actually been in the position that I was well suited for something that would pay a six-figure salary. So I didn't have a whole bunch of like deeply ingrained neural pathways that were saying like, here's how to respond in this situation, which made the shift that much faster. So like that shift took me, I don't know, like maybe a week or two. I don't even remember. It wasn't that long. But that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to like how soon can you expect results, assuming that you do the work, of course, duh, is that like you could see a result, by the end of day 3, and like being aware that those results are going to seem subtle, and it also is like dependent on what you're currently shifting. But what's included is like great for all of those different things. It's not just about getting out of like I said, worry, fear, and stress. It's also about holding the space for expanded states of being. Next question. Why should I learn from you, Amy? What are your credentials? What are the letters behind your name? How do I know that it's worthwhile, like actually learning from you? Before I give you like the proper answer, let me just say, if you enjoy, especially how the last few like episodes of the special series that I've been dropping for you, if you've enjoyed how I speak and how I communicate in that way, you'll enjoy the Breakup with Broke program, because and you'll enjoy all my programs because they all are structured somewhat similarly. So I think that's really key when you're considering who you want to learn from. You want to learn from somebody that like you're not like you enjoy how they communicate, how they share, how they disseminate information or whatever, how they speak, all those things. So if you've been enjoying it already, and I'm going to guess if you're at 30 minutes on this podcast episode, you probably already are, then like you'll enjoy how the journey is structured. But to answer your question more clearly, what I can tell you is that I've been studying money, manifestation, and psychology for more than 20 years. Okay. I've released more than $40,000 in debt. I've probably actually released like 40,000 a few times over. Actually, now that I come to think of it, I can tell you that I've paid off credit cards multiple times over. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars in programs and books and learning, and all of those things come into play in the training. Okay. There's no like credential that says can teach people about how to shift worry. So there's no, maybe one day I'll create it. Who knows? So that just gives you an idea of like, what is my history? What's my knowledge? What am I drawing on that I'm actually sharing with you? But the truth is this, okay? I know that what I share inside Breakup with Broke works. And I know that it works in real life, in the hard as fuck financially struggling times, because I use the same knowledge and tools and shifts in my life every day. And there's going to be a day, I'm calling it in. I've been calling this in for a while. There's going to be a day that I'm bringing in 7 figures a year, 8 figures a year. There's going to be a day that I'm going to be recording this and I'll say, listen, I know it works because I use it every single day of my life now. And somebody's going to hear it and go, yeah, but Amy, like it's got to be easy for you to shift worry because like you've got millions of dollars and like even if your business like closed today, you'd still be fine for the rest of your life. And that would be true. And I'm sorry for the moment that that might happen in time where someone feels like it might not work for them. And this is part of why I'm so keen to get this out in the world now, because I know it works because I am using it regularly. At some point, I'm not ready for it yet, but at some point, I will share the story of what's been going on in the last little while. And I will share with you, and I'm going to be candid, it's probably going to be like a year or 2 years from now. Okay. So, like, don't hold your breath. It's going to be a while. But I'll share with you, like, what's been going on and how I've been using what I teach inside Breakup with Brogue to help me move through this time. Because I'm just going to say it's been hard as fuck. It's one of the hardest periods of my life that I've been in. It's a very weird space. And I use the tools all the time. So this isn't an intellectual pursuit, okay? Breakup with Broke isn't this thing where I'm like, well, I read this thing, so now I'm going to tell others about it. This is a daily experience for me, whether I'm brushing my teeth in the night or I'm like making my coffee first thing in the morning, or I hit the 3 o'clock in the afternoon freak out where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm a total disaster and nothing's working and nobody will buy from me and all these things, right? Every idea, insight, and tool that I share inside Breakup with Broke is part of my go-to day-to-day strategy. That is not, I don't want you to hear this as like, oh my God, she uses all of these tools every day. No, but I use what I need to when it makes sense. And then every now and then I forget them, and we talk about that too. I forget about the tools that I have, and then something happens, and I go, "Oh, you ding dong! You teach on this stuff, for crying out loud! You've got this in your programs. Remember, you have this thing. Remember, it works in this way, right? Okay." So I use them regularly. I forget about them from time to time, and then when I remember, I'm like, "Oh, right, okay, here we go." I use them to shift the old patterns and beliefs in real time. It's not like okay, I'll sit down with my journal and it'll all be great. These are happening in real time when I'm driving somewhere, when I'm, I don't know, going for a walk, when I'm trying to go to bed and my brain starts, trying to focus on the wrong kind of worry. Like every day I'm using them. So I'm not trying to delusional my way to wealth and hoping that it sticks. I'm actually building my ability to consistently hold more abundance and to more quickly shift out of scarcity. And that's critical. So this is a juicy episode. I hope that this is I know it's meant to be an FAQ, but I'm actually really enjoying this and I hope you are too. So what's the price and is it worth it? Now, before I answer this question, I'm just going to say that every business training I've ever done, all of them say, don't tell them the price. You want them to get to the enrollment page. You want to give them all the reasons, stack the evidence, show all the reasons why this is a no-brainer. They should just be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. Take my money. How do I do this? And that's amazing. And also, I'm going to tell you right now, there is not one time that I have ever in my life gotten to an enrollment page and not, or heard about an offering and not immediately going, but how much is it? And it's not because I'm looking for this oh, I can't afford it, which is what, and okay, let's be fair. Perhaps I'm not the same as most people on the planet. Maybe most people are oh, it's $1 billion. Well, I can't afford that. I guess I'll do that another day. Sure, that's possible. But I want to know what the investment is, because for me, it's important to it's not just important to find out, is it reachable? It's also important for me to
it's a, how do I say this? It's like a piece of information. So as I'm going through your enrollment page, I already know the enrollment page is all about you telling me why this is the most amazing thing in the world, right? And I'm like, cool, I know it's the most amazing thing in the world. Otherwise, you wouldn't be selling this right now. But like, let's just cut to the chase. How much is this thing? So all that to say, like I realize that like all the businesses are like, don't tell them. Have them like go through this whole thing. And I'm like, no, dog. I'm gonna just like straight up put it in there. In fact, I had some inspired action that dropped in this morning. Today's been a very interesting day. That came in and said, Amy, on your, so I use Linktree and my Instagram profile. On your Linktree things in your Instagram profile, actually put in brackets how much everything is. And I'm like, okay, all the business people say not to, but here we go. So like, I don't know, it's possible that some of you looked at it and went, nope, not going to do it. And I don't know. But like, anyway, here's all that to say that I'm not supposed to say the price. And I just don't believe in that. I think it's important for us to just be clear and honest and kind. That's how I believe about every money conversation. It is how my design business worked. It's how I worked with all of my compensation conversations with everybody who ever reported into me. I think it is so respectful and honorable to have clear conversations about money. Now, you might be thinking at this point, Jesus Christ, she's going to tell me it's $1 million. When I tell you the price, you're going to be like, wait a minute, I'm sorry, that's it? Yes. So I've kept the program intentionally very, very accessible. Okay. I want this to be very financially accessible for everybody, no matter where they're at. So the Breakup with Broke investment is only $97, one time for life. That's it. You get it. You pay $97. You get in on the other side. Very quickly, before I share the next little bit that I want to share. This is really important to me. For those of you who are in Canada, all right, my fellow Canucks, on the enrollment page, I want you to note that just below the initial enrollment is actually a special button for you, because globally, the price is set at $97 US. So for all of you who don't live in Canada, that is your button, okay? It's $97 US. That's your button. But for those of us who live in Canada, okay, north of the 49th, we the North, from coast to coast, I can like get all patriotic and like start singing the anthem if I could just like think of the first couple lines, because my brain is thinking of something else. One of the things that I know so many of us find so frustrating is that like whenever we invest in programs and stuff, it's always in US dollars. And for those of you who may be in the US and listening to this, if you are not aware, our dollars are not the same. So a program that's $100 in the US actually costs me like 140 or 150 bucks. So it's always more expensive. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. Now, my ideal down the line is that like this all naturally happens for you on the website, so I don't have to tell you about like the extra button, but for now we're working with what we got. So it's $97 one time for life. And I want you to think about oh my goodness. Think of Breakup with Broke in this way. Any other manifestation program, any money program, any wealth strategy or budget tool that you're already working with, Breakup with Broke adds jet fuel to those. Because for $97, you get access to access to how to shift worry in real time, how to discern fear in the moment, how to recalibrate your brain, all in a way that boosts any and every other financial or life creation strategy you're already doing. This is the magic of the program. So if budgeting is your thing, okay, like you love working budgets, I don't, but I know lots of people do. If budgeting is your thing, but you're constantly feeling like that icky kind of worried, you'll learn how to shift it. And that will make your budget feel better. Plus, it will help you align with more abundance. If manifestation is your thing, but you're often struck with like fear and scarcity thinking, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how to get out of this. You're going to find out how to leverage those moments into powerful awareness that you can use to clean up your manifestation energy. And then that builds your confidence, which boosts your magnetism to your desires. You're very welcome. If wealth building is your thing, but you're afraid that you started too late or that you're doing it wrong or you don't know enough, you'll get insight into what's actually happening in your brain and why, so that you stop the spiral and you can focus on building true wealth. And that helps you feel like the financial badass that you already are. I mean, I feel like that's all pretty good for $97, right? Let's take this home. We've got 2 quickies before we finish this episode. I was not intending for this to be so long, but here we are. We're sharing good shit, I think. What's the support? What support do I get if I'm stuck? So Break Up with Broke is a self-led audio-only program. Basically, you press play, you tune in, and that's it. Okay, it really doesn't get any easier than that. So it is not a group coaching program. There is no one-on-one work here. It is self-led fully, and it's all audio. If for some reason you can't get the private podcast added to your listening platform, and you know that the listening platform that you want to use supports private podcast feeds, because not all of them do, you can reach out to support@daretobegin.net, and I'll do my best to help you figure it out. Okay. But outside of that, I mean, the content is in the program and it's written in a way that it is intended to be accessible and easy for you to use. And just, listen to it a few times over if you're like, I'm not quite getting this. And finally, what is the refund policy or guarantee? So all of the digital products that I sell are non-refundable. However, I do offer a one-time 48-hour review window for new students. Okay, so if you've never bought Break Up with Broke before, which you'd only have to buy it one time, obviously, you can explore the intro and week 1 only. Now that's already, I think, 6 audios. So within the first 48 hours, you can go through up until the end of week 1. If you access any additional weeks or you download any of I don't think there's any downloads on this one, but this one's kind of my generic refund policy. You download any course materials or you progress beyond week 1, then you immediately void your refund eligibility, even if it's within the 48-hour window. Okay. If for whatever reason you want to request a refund, that needs to be emailed in to support@daretobegin.net within 48 hours of purchase. And then we can go from there and figure out what's the best next step for you. Whew. Okay, my loves, that covers all of the FAQs. I think that oh my goodness, gives us more than the clarity. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that it's 4:00 on a Friday afternoon, and this is the 8th audio that I've recorded. I think that gives you a good deal of clarity. My intention is that the answers that I've shared with you in today's audio really just help you feel confident and excited about joining me inside Break Up with Broke. And if you've already enrolled in Break Up with Broke and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, that's awesome. Please tell me if that's what you're experiencing, because that will be really fun to hear as well. So I'm going to end the recording. I'm going to send you on your way, and then I'm going to close down all my recording equipment, and I am going to go for the walk that I promised myself 4 hours ago. I wish you so much goodness. I have, I think, 1 more, maybe 2 episodes coming for you in this sweet, special little special episode, secret, sneaky, I forget how I've been starting this at the beginning, series. And I wish you so much love and goodness and joy. And I will think of you while I'm out on my walk. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform and help me reach more like-minded people who are ready to expand their life. If you haven't yet followed me on social media, find me on Instagram for extra love and inspiration by following @AmyVanMeal or visit my website at amyvanmeal.com. I love you so much, babe, and I am damn proud of you. I am already excited to connect in the next episode. And in the meantime, believe in yourself with the confidence of a 5-year-old.